So there's no better way to open this video series, Behind the Shield Bite Size, than to address leadership or lack thereof. We are losing so many people to suicide, addiction, overdoses, heart disease, cancer, etc., etc. And I am so sick and tired of seeing people say, "Oh, it was so unfortunate," and "Oh, I don't have all the answers." That is to disregard the problem because it's too hard is the most cowardly example of the complete lack of leadership. There are answers, and yes, they're compounding elements. There's a list, but the answer is to start addressing those lists one at a time, which is why I'm doing this video series. We're going to break each of these issues down in small bite-sized pieces and empower the men and women on the ground floor, their boots on the ground, all the way through to chief positions, and then city and council managers as well, county managers. The compounding elements that are causing especially the mental health challenges at the moment are sleep deprivation, are mandatory overtime. These men and women are getting physiologically, mentally, and emotionally burned out. Some are still resilient enough, thanks to whatever happened to their formative years, to still be able to weather the storm. But no human being can endure the way that we work our first responders without some sort of negative element. Now, that might be obesity, it might be cancer, it might be a stroke, and it might be overdose or suicide. So the first thing is we have to stop looking at this problem like it's an unwinnable war, like there's no solutions. I don't have all the answers. I have the answers, and I'm just a freaking immigrant from England who became a firefighter. I'm not a chief, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a neurosurgeon or an astronaut. I'm a regular bloke who went to too many fucking funerals and is tired of watching people be handed folded American flags and being thanked for their service. I'm going to start kind of laying out the list of contributing factors, but the core, the nucleus, is that the average workforce who doesn't have to stay awake all night, who doesn't have lives in their hands, on average in America, in the UK, are working a 40-hour week. Our first responders here in Marion County specifically, their base week was 56 hours and then a mandatory overtime every week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, which I did for a majority of my career as well, is an 80-hour work week. That is double the work week of a civilian. And there's no disrespect by this, but if accounting or plumbing or grocery work is your occupation, if you make a mistake, people aren't going to die. In our profession, not only are we killing our own first responders, but we're diminishing the ability for us to save lives in our jobs. So that's all this first video is there are solutions, there are answers, and I'm looking for the courageous leaders of all ranks to start stepping up and understanding, educating yourselves on sleep deprivation and counseling at the front door of this kind of profession and all these other compounding elements, and then asking the question, why are we working our men and women to death, literally? So I'm going to end this video with that. Simply empowerment. There are answers, there are solutions to this problem, but we need courageous leaders who, as the saying goes, will plant the seed of the tree under the shade they may never know. You cannot make yourself look good in one budget year and positively affect the mental and physical health crisis. You have to have the courage and selflessness to enact changes that you may not see, but 5-10 years from now, we will reduce drastically all of these things that are happening to our first responders and improve our service to the men and women that we serve.